Welcome back. We've got one more lab to go. This is all about roles and permissions and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and add Active Directory as an identity source, and we're going to use some predefined roles, and then we're going to use some custom roles and kind of see what's going on. So first things first, we need to make sure we are prepared for the lab, which means having the NSX UI open and up and ready to go, which we do here. If you don't, go ahead and open up the UI and get logged in. So, what's the first thing we need to do? Well, we need to, in order to use Active Directory as an identity source, we need to add Active Directory in as an identity source. So, under System, we can come into settings down at the bottom, right? Not the identity firewall Active Directory. That's not what we're looking for. That's a different function. We're going to come down here under user management, way down there at the bottom. And we're going to come over to authentication providers right here under user management, and we want to go ahead and add an LDAP source. Yeah, we've got an identity manager and an OpenID Connect source available, but here we're going to set up LDAP, and we want to add an identity source, and we'll call this vClass. And the FQDN here is going to be vClass.local. Let me make sure I got that spelled right. We'll do Active Directory over LDAP. Now we'd also just do Open LDAP, but here we're doing Active Directory. My base distinguished name, CN equal users, DC equals vClass, DC equals local. All right, so we want to put let's see, CN equal users, DC equal vClass, DC equal local. That should be appropriate. If you need an alternative domain name, say you've changed domain names in Active Directory in the past, you may want to set this for some of those legacy users. Here we have we'll do some kind of thing here. We want to set an LDAP server now. We need to add an LDAP server, at least one, so we know where we're going to connect. And so 172.20.10.10. We've used that IP before a few times. Here it's also our domain controller. Now, we're not going to do any security stuff. Did you notice how we had some things change, right? My certificate lit up and kind of became more prominent. My Start TLS went away, and here I can choose whether I'm going to use Start TLS, right? My certificate grays out if I'm not using Start TLS. Depending on what my specific needs are, I can configure this as necessary. Now, we're just going to do LDAP. Right? We're not going to do anything particularly fancy. We're going to use a bind identity administrator at vclass.local. Let me add an L in there and spell local correctly. There we go. Administrator at vclass.local. We'll use the same VMware 1 exclamation point password that we've been using. We click on the little I, validate that, capital V, capital M, WARE 1 exclamation point. We can go in and check status. All right, here we see that everything is okay. We have a success here, so we'll go ahead and add that LDAP server and just apply. We've just got the one server that we're going to look at. So we'll go ahead and save this. And now that this is saved, we want to go and test it. We want to see that it all works, which means we need to come over to the user role assignment tab. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a role for providers, and we're going to choose LDAP here because that's what's configured. And we'll select our vClass domain. Now we want to go ahead and start looking for users, and notice how I mistyped that and it didn't find anything. Well, here we found JDoe, so I don't have to type all that out. I'm just going to select that, and we'll choose the network admin is the role that we're going to select here. Now notice that drop down menu didn't go away. I could have attached more roles to this. And now here we're going to save. Right there, we're going to save. Now, the lab tells us to close out or log out of the web browser and log back in with a different user. Well, I'll tell you what, I personally am not a big fan of that. Let's skip this. I want to go ahead and let's can I get rid of that? I can get rid of that. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to open up Firefox, and you can use this choice. You can follow the lab guide either way. But we're going to log in as jdoe at vclass.local and vmware1 exclamation point. And so we can go ahead and log in. Let's not save that. And here we see that that we have logged in. If we look up here in the corner, jdoe at vclass.local, right? Great stuff. My Active Directory connectivity works. We can validate that things work. We can come over here to networking and say tier 0 gateways. Can I add a gateway? I can add a gateway. Right? Look at that. I can add that. Let's cancel that out. We don't want to create a new gateway, but we'll go in here. Can I create a tier 1 gateway? I can. We'll cancel that. How about the distributed firewall? Let's go to security and distributed firewall policy management. And notice here I cannot add a policy. That's all grayed out. I can see my firewall information, right? My context menu, though, simply has copy path to clipboard. I can simply look at my security stuff. So role-based access control, it's working. It's working. Let's go ahead and come up here to the corner and log out of this user. Right, take us right back to the login screen. Now, at this point, right, the lab says, "Oh, we'll open up NSX. Click your NSX UI again. Log back in as admin." We're still logged in, right? Changing browsers simply gave us a different way to approach this particular exercise, and give us the option. I always like doing this because now I still have my super user console open and available, just in case I did something terribly, terribly wrong. Sometimes that's a thing that happens. So we're back in, and what are we going to do? I'm going to come in and look at roles. All right, I'm going to come in and look at roles. And I'm going to find my network admin role, and I'm going to go ahead and clone my network admin. I'm going to clone the network admin role. And we're going to change this from copy of network admin to T1 admin. And, maybe this is a role where I just want to be able to manage tier 1 gateways. So let's come under the networking permissions. That takes me, if I just click on mixed there, that takes me down to all kinds of stuff. Now, what we want to do is we want to expand out connectivity, and we want to change our permission for our tier 0 gateways to read only. Right? And tier 0 gateways, OSPF, our OSPF routing, read only. Those are all we're going to save here. Right? So we're going to apply that and save that tier 1 gateway role. Now, if we come over to user role assignment and edit jdoe, so we're just going to use jdoe at vclass.local here. We'll edit that. We'll hit the little X to close or to remove the network admin. And let's go ahead and select the T1 admin role that we just created, right? We'll save that, and then we need to test, right? Again, the lab guide says go ahead and log out here and log back in. Well, I'm going to come over here to Firefox again. And I'm going to go ahead and do this in the different browser again. Right? Doesn't make a whole lot of difference one way or another. This is just a personal preference. So we've got this, and let's go over and look at our tier 0 gateways, right? So we can go in through networking, or we can click the 5 tier 0 gateways link there. And here we notice that my ad gateway is, is still unavailable, or not still, but is now unavailable. So we've got that. Now, what about my tier 1 gateways? Well, my tier 1 gateway, I can still add a tier 1 gateway. I could still edit a tier 1 gateway if I want to, right? We've got that tier 1 administrator role that we've configured that still has tier 1 gateway privileges. And if we come into security, right, again, we can go into our firewall and we can see that I can see my policies, but I can't add new policies. So that's kind of your primer on permissions, on users and roles and custom permissions and all that kind of stuff. There it is. So we've got a little more to talk about in the class itself. So come back. We've got more videos to see, but this was the last hands-on exercise. So if you haven't gone through the exercise, go ahead and take some time, spend some hands-on with NSX, and then come back for the other videos about Federation. We'll see you there.